name's Raquel Sofía. I'm from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, and I currently live in Miami. I started singing and writing songs when I was really young. It was always interesting to me, you know, the part about storytelling, not just singing and performing fills me in and is really important to me, but the fact that I get to perform my own songs, things that I wrote about my life or about people I know or, you know, about what I observe about my world, that is what really makes this whole experience special. I lived in Mayagüez until I was 18 and then I went to UM. I was a jazz major there. And after I graduated college, I started working as a backup singer and I got the chance to work for artists that I've admired since I was so young, and my second school was just being behind these mega stars, my idols, you know? I kind of didn't hone in on my voice or my sound until I was touring and watching these people perform and watching just how they had their own unique style and their own corner in Latin music and in music in general. And that I started writing and trying to just be more myself, trying to go back to the kind of music that I listened to when I was young. And that's kind of where I felt the most comfortable, and things started happening from there. The first song I wrote in my life, well, I was probably like 7. I mean, I wish we had iPhones and stuff back then, because right now I don't remember what it sounded like. I have the words written down. You know, I had notebooks that I would carry around everywhere with me. They were basically poems, and I would always write about some boy that I liked and he didn't like me back. So basically my subject matter has not changed at all. Ever since I started writing songs, I'm writing about boys that I like, and somehow either they don't like me back or something happens. I don't know, I enjoy writing about love because I think there's so many sides to it. For me, music is kind of therapy. Like, as I live and I have experiences, I kind of write about them. And I start a song, and then by the end of the song, I understand myself better, and I know myself better than when I started writing it. When I was a backup singer for Juanes, I uploaded my first song to YouTube called Cada Día. People started sharing it, and his management and him, they kind of caught wind of it and they heard it, and they asked me to open his US tour. So for me, that was kind of validation, and that, okay, maybe I'm onto something here. When you're sharing songs, they're so personal and you feel so strongly about them, and you feel like you're, you know, sharing a piece of your soul that is so nerve-wracking to see how people are gonna react to it. So to hear from people that I admired and respected that they liked my music and the stuff that I was writing was, you know, extremely gratifying and definitely helped kickstart my career. I think what makes me stand out as an artist is the way I write songs. I think the language, especially the words and the way I express my feelings and what I'm seeing and what I'm, you know, experiencing is kind of unique, the way I write it. I went to jazz school and I incorporate some of those sounds in my music, and I think in the Latin world that is kind of special.
Antes de soñar de nuevo, tengo que olvidarme de tus labios.
A contribution that I've made to the culture, more than to the culture, I think, to women and young girls. And I think for Latinas, we're kind of pigeonholed into a certain kind of Latina that we have to be, you know? This sexy, you know, spicy, sultry, whatever. And that's really cool, but there's so much more to Latin women. I've tried to kind of show women that they can be something else, that we can be different, that we can hang with the guys, we can play instruments, we can write songs, we can be rock and roll. We don't have to be like, you know, showing our boobs and our butt and our asses and everything. Like, I think in that sense, you know, it's special to me when girls write to me and they say, I'm learning how to play guitar because of you, I'm learning how to play ukulele because of you, and I feel like that's a contribution because we need more women in this industry. I go back and forth, I think everybody does, between whether you're successful or not. It depends on what metric you use to measure it and what your values are and all of that. I think I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do, and that's a success. I always said I was going to be a musician. I always said I was going to be a singer. I always said I was going to write my own songs. I always said I was going to do this for a living. I was going to travel. And I think we expect things to happen a certain way, and when they don't, we think that we're not successful. But just because life doesn't follow our plan doesn't mean that it's not a success, you know? And I think I am successful, and I can't wait to be more successful. There's so many fears and obstacles that come with the music industry. And, you know, first off, people tell you that your music sucks and that you're a songwriter and nobody wants to listen to songwriters because people just want to dance and people just want reggaeton and people just want to be in the club and nobody cares about your lyrics and your love songs, and that's the first thing you hear. So you're starting from that disadvantage, like you're not making music for people to shake their asses, which is fine, but you know, so that was kind of hard. I think it's hard being a woman in the industry. I think men are used to a certain form of sexuality and a certain form of empowerment where a woman is kind of just in this vulnerable like position, like I'm yours, like tuya, and never like owning their own sexuality, owning their power, owning their careers, and especially in the Latin industry, which is more machista, men are more chauvinistic, like that's hard. And you know, you kind of go up and down and back and forth in the uncertainty, but I think in life we pick what we want to struggle for, and I picked this, and the struggles have been bad and they've been, you know, sad, and I've had rough times, but the amazing things that have come out after all the struggles have been so worth it, have made everything so worth it. So yeah, it's pretty tough not ever knowing, you know, where you're gonna be and all that, but eventually you realize that the water's kind of settled. And there's still gonna be ups and downs. But I think what I've learned from people that I admire and people that I've met and people that have made it and all that is that you can't stop. You know, como dicen en español, es la carrera del aguante. El que más aguante, the person that waits until the end. The last man standing when everybody else quits. Because there are times when you want to quit. And you know, that's a success, not quitting when every like part of your body is like, this is crazy.
High five.